10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
PokerStars announces the World Championship of Online Poker.
$2.1 million.
More than 10,000 players.
33 events this year.
And for the first time, $1 million score. WCOOP 2009, what a
Over
year.
$2.2 million for first. That's
The
insane.
taxi driver who satellited in takes home $1 million. Crown-up guy is the world
This kid is
champion.
1-to-1.
Sean Deeb consistently crushing WCOOP.
What a lineup.
Adrenaline 7-1-0, 5 titles in one series. And it's PT Fisherman who reels in the main event trophy.
2021, the year of Talal.
WCOOP is still the title every online player wants to win.
This is where world champions are made.
Welcome to the PokerStars Arena and the 2022 World Championship of Online Poker. If you like shootouts, if you like heads up, you're in the right place. Tonight is the final day of the World Championship of Heads Up No Limit Hold'em. 4 players remain, which means we have 2 semi-finals and a final to cover, with the winner receiving the championship trophy and a 6-figure score, more than 100 grand up top. Hello everyone, I'm James Hartigan, alongside me, Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
Now Joe, the 2 semi-finals will run concurrently, so there might be a fair amount of switching as we get to our first feature table and ask the question, could this be the night that old Nazar wins his 7th WCOOP? He's in the final 4, let's get to his table.
As if Heads Up wasn't frenetic enough online, we got 2 tables about what is happening. We're deep
So
in
this-
this already.
The match between Nazar and Ramastar 88, that is Ramiro Patron playing from Uruguay. And each player starts the match with 100,000 chips. Blind start at 400, 800.
Well, is it fair to call it Domination Nation when it's King 6 against 6-3? Uh-oh.
Second pair for Ramastar, 2 pair for João Vieira, a player who does indeed have 6 WCOOP titles and is going for number 7 this evening. Oh, that is a full house for Nazar.
A full busy. Hizzy. 3 of a kind and a pair. That's what I'm calling it from now on.
$8,200. The bet from Nazar.
I wonder if it's starting match round 4 or not.
With 1% and now
0.
I don't see how Ramastar loses that much though here, Joe, with just a 6 on this double
it should
paired
be.
board.
They're very deep. It should go bet. Yeah, okay, fine. Check, call, bet. Wait, did Nazar just check back the full house? Huh. Must have liked the 10. Liked him for a 10.
Queen 10 button raise. Kojak for Nazar, who makes an aggressive pre-flop 3-bet. And flops top pair. Couple of backdoor draws for Ramastar. And Nazar continues, understandably, has the best hand, is a 4-1 favorite here.
3-bet pre-flop. You get to make a nice small continuation bet here that I think is going to get a lot of peels. Okay.
Okay, interesting spot for a raise from Ramastar.
Well, Nazar going nowhere.
And now improves to 2 pair, and Ramistar turns the open-ended straight draw. The percentages haven't actually changed that much. Nazar close to 82 than 80. Ramistar does have outs.
You got to imagine Ramistar is going to fire again here. I don't think you raise the flop and then just like check here all that often. When you supposedly pick up equity, we know that it didn't change all that much, but you would think that you may have picked up equity with 1 card to come.
Oh, wow.
Almost all of it. Oh, boy. Pot committed, anyone?
And that'll do it for this heads-up match between Nazar and Ramistar. João Vieira is going through to the final, and so much for switching. I guess this will be the one time we get to do it. Switching.
Wait a minute, this one's not over yet?
It will be João Vieira in the final versus the winner of this heads-up match between Baby Federer, representing Bulgaria, and Phoenix, playing from Ukraine. And no, this one is not over. And I'm hoping that when the blinds go up in 4 minutes' time, it will clear that really annoying client message. At this point in time, let us introduce our guest analyst for this evening, Griffin Benja. Griffin, I'm so sorry. You didn't get to call any of the action in that other match, but it kind of finished quite quickly.
Such interesting hands to, the full house with the 6-3 for João Vieira, and then the big Queen 10, King Jack clash. Really exciting stuff, but these players play on really aggressive levels and things like that. That aggressive action with the Queen 10 from Ramistar. Once that turn came the King, and you saw what was in the pot. And that was, I think, really Ramistar's plan was, if I do get called here and if I turn a king or a 9 or a heart, I can shove for pot. So I just saw it all happening in slow motion. I'm like, this is over.
Incredible. And worth highlighting that João Vieira now gets a break, can sit back and watch and wait to see who he will be facing in the final of this heads-up championship. We know very little about Phoenix other than they are playing from Ukraine. Baby Federer is a heads-up specialist, plays heads-up sit and goes at the highest stakes, and did win a scoop title in a heads-up high roller back in 2015.
I think that was an expired check back by Naza on hand number 1 to set up the river semi-bluff shove on hand number 2. I mean, when you have as much history as one hand as those two did, it's really, no surprise it played out like that on hand number 2.
Yeah, I saw your face frozen there for a bit, seeing that full house check back. Certainly not something you see very often, especially from the kind of players that like to go for much thinner value, but situationally, it's interesting having the 6 in your hand. It makes it way less likely that your opponent has a 6. And with all the 10s and then all the flush draws that are going to be folded, and the 6 might not even call. So I think it's an interesting check back, but one I see a lot of logic to as well.
Sure. So blinds are going to go up in 2 minutes' time, and again, to highlight the format, and it will be exactly the same for the final. 100,000 starting stack, blinds starting at 400, 800. Now, in the semi-finals, the blinds go up every 15 minutes. When we get to the final, the blinds will go up every 20 minutes.
I mean, it didn't really matter, did it?
Not in the other match, but in this one it could.
Now, James, but what are the blinds when there's the starting match round 6?
You're very funny, Griffin.
And the ante in particular, what is it?
By the way, we do have the payouts on the screen. Ramistar did cash for 34,500. Only the final 4 made the money, so no one got paid last night. So even though Ramistar only came back for a couple of hands today, at least Ramistar can add 34.5K to their bankroll.
Ramistar definitely lived up to their name also, right? Just an absolute star, ramming it in on the turn on hand number 2, superstar.
Well, we talk about João Vieira going for WCOOP number 7. Ramiro Patron was going for WCOOP number 2. Won a 530 rebuy back in 2018, but is no more in this event. We are down to 3 players. We have João Vieira waiting in the wings, ready for the heads-up final. He will take on either Baby Federer or Fenix. Right now, Fenix has the chip advantage in this match, slight advantage, and has the hand advantage in this particular pot.
Yeah, and I think one of the one of the turn cards that Baby Federer might be inclined to keep barreling, really 0 equity on that flop, but with that 6, it's one you want to blast to fold out some hands like King 5 or Queen 5 suited, hands like that would certainly peel against the raise pre-flop, call the flop, and be forced to fold the turn. But 9-7 is going to be too strong, especially with that additional straight draw. And now the question becomes, does Baby Federer have a third bullet in them? You have river at a bit of showdown value, so you're beating some big heart combos. Things maybe like Queen 9 of hearts, and I think that's why we see the check back, even though Federer is going to expect to lose that hand a lot of the time.
There we go. As the blinds go up,
Boom.
We clear that banner, and we are now playing 500 and 1,000. So we are 82 bigs effective right now, and blinds will go up inside of 15 minutes.
Not to put anyone on the spot here, but how does it work? Does NASA have to sit at his computer just in case this ends in the next 30 seconds?
Yes, because when this match finishes, the final will start immediately.
All right.
But I imagine, Griffin, that João Vieira will be very interested in watching this match.
Yes, absolutely. I have to assume he's just doing bicep curls, after we after we commented last time that he didn't have the biggest biceps. He's probably working on it between matches.
I mean, look, it may be that Vieira already has history playing against Baby Federer and or Fenix, but there's still a lot to learn from scoping out your opponent before the final starts. Playing for a difference, it's nearly double. If you look at the difference between second and first, 57.5k to the runner-up, more than 100 grand to the winner, and of course you get to call yourself the world champion of Heads Up No Limit Hold'em. Well, flush draw here for Fenix.
Yeah, and kind of dangerous here with Baby having the ace of hearts.
Yeah, it gives a lot of license for Federer, had the turn card been a heart, and especially if there was a bet on the flop to be betting really strong into that flush, but hasn't come yet, and now Fenix just bets, and Federer has a tough spot there with just ace high. It's good a lot of the time, but you're against a tough opponent that could be value betting a 9 there, so let's it go.
Dan O'Face, watching on Twitch, says, is the final the best of 3? If not, could be a short stream. It is not. It's one and done. But I have to say, what we saw in that semi-final between João Vieira and Ramiro Petrone, I do think was an anomaly. I think with the structure of these heads-up matches, most of them go the distance.
It was a particular anomaly also for it not really to be a super cooler, right?
It wasn't like it was kings versus aces, right?
Yeah, or set over set.
Yeah. But it's not wrong to highlight that, of course, when you've just got 2 players, it could be over very quickly. But, again, law of averages. I think they will probably grind it out.
All Phoenix so far.
Yeah. And
7,800
is opening up a sizable advantage.
Just
Does
calls.
not re-raise, and instead flops top pair, solid kicker, the wheel draw, the gut shot draw for Baby Federer. And if Fenix wins this pot, Griffin, we will have a situation where Fenix will have a 2-1 chip lead over Baby Federer. Got a question from Sevan on YouTube, because it is always coming, Sevan, and he says, how many heads-up matches has Zhao won to reach the final? We know this was round 4 because we had 15 minutes of a client banner telling us. So it will be 5 rounds in total, this being 4 of 5, and a pair of deuces on the river for Baby Federer. Unlikely they will be shipping this pot.
There it is. There's the 2-1.
Oh, I have been informed by StatTrick, Zhao Vieira got a bye in the first round, so Zhao only had to play 3 heads-up matches, including the one we just saw, which really means he played 2.5.
Yeah, he got a bye in the first round, and he kind of got one in the fourth also.
Guys, I know we like to play favorites with Naza a little bit, but a bye, really?
I believe that it is randomly selected, Griffin.
Let the conspiracy theories run wild.
I got a bye in my first ever Magic the Gathering tournament, and it's the only round I've ever won in a Magic the Gathering tournament. So pretty happy about that.
You nerd. I love the fact that people are worried about Zhao Vieira, like sitting there and not doing anything and twiddling his thumbs. Guys, there's like 320 plus tournaments on the WCOOP schedule. I'm pretty sure
right now.
Naza is going to be multi-tabling. I'm pretty sure he's going to be playing other events.
Yeah, he's keeping the volume down. He's watching The Office in the background, but, you know.
James, it's 2022. Have you ever had to wait for anything for longer than 40 seconds? It's impossible. Oh, boy.
Have you tried calling British Airways customer service? You don't get through in 40 seconds, trust me.
I waited over an hour and a half for the lunch I ordered today, and it came 15 minutes before the stream started without my smoothie.
Oh, no.
Ah, I could tell you weren't your usual buoyant self. So we have got...
I was hungry.
second pair against a straight here, and another potential big pot going in the direction of Phoenix, who checks it, gets checked back, still has that 2-1 chip advantage.
Bit surprised by the check back from Phoenix there, but of course it's going to come from a place of, you know, really sort of maybe studying that spot, maybe expecting his opponent to have more bluffs than sort of middling value. You know, maybe that Jack-9 would be betting a lot of the time there on the flop.
Well, not only does Baby Federer have the better ace, Baby Federer has a spade draw now as well on the turn. And ace-8 high remains the best hand.
Griffin, did you get hung up in any of that traffic leaving Black Rock City that I saw on the internet? Like you could see it from space?
No, because my girlfriend and I, we take the Burner Express bus, which takes the back roads, and it's just 2.5 hours straight to the airport in Reno. All the people leaving in that craziness are, you know, leaving with their RVs, and, you know, it's just crazy. 80,000 people trying to leave a place. I think they get sort of 650 out of there an hour or something, so it's just going on for, you know, days, really.
I am loving the logic that Pedro is applying as to who he will support in this match. I'm for Baby Federer. Don't know who he is, but Federer is my favorite tennis player ever. With that name, winner for sure.
Baby Federer is my favorite salad ingredient. Just kidding. I don't eat salads.
We know. That was why it was funny.
I do consider relish to be a salad. It's got chopped up vegetables in it.
Oh, and now we've got some tennis rivalry because Omar's declared that he's a Nadal fan. You two sort it out. Let's focus on this heads-up match. Jack 4 opening on the button.
I would watch Baby Federer against Baby Nadal.
Yeah, I would too.
Ooh, here we go.
Aces.
But Baby Federer doesn't have anything.
The Phoenix slow played the ace queen before, not the case with the aces.
So 46 total entries in this heads-up championship. Prize pool of $230,000, exceeding the guarantee. Representing the red spade were Lex Veldhaus and Tonka, neither of whom obviously made it through to the final day. King High is still ahead on this paired board. A bet of just over 1,100 from Baby Federer. And the check raise from Phoenix.
Yeah, actually check raising with the best hand here. Maybe just deciding it'll be easier to play. I don't know if Baby Federer is going away here. It does seem a bit fishy, but you know, lets it go. Doesn't have a lot of momentum right now, does Baby Federer?
Baby Federer still deep stack though, and will still be deep when the blinds go up in 3 minutes to 600, 1,200.
I just let Carl know what my Twitch account is. Maybe I've made a mistake. He was demanding I get a Twitch account. I'm right here, man. I'm right here.
Don't capitulate to Crazy Carl's demands.
It worked.
You'll find him in your DMs morning, day, and night.
Jaguar Poker was my attempt to merge my Counter-Strike and my poker.
I like how you're going to pick a different mythical creature after being named one at birth.
2K bet with 8 high. Phoenix has the best hand with A7. Do we get the hero call?
Yeah, I think so. I think this sizing from Federer is probably just trying to fold out some like 10
Oh,
and
wow.
jack high hands that are going to be beating 8-5, but instead Phoenix just plays it as a raise just in case he's getting value bet by a queen and gets it through.
Sticks it in his eye. Button raised with Jack 6, but King Queen suited for Phoenix. And we're closing in on a 3-1 chip advantage for the Ukrainian player as we approach the first break and approach the new blind level. Ace-3 opens, King-Queen for Federer.
Let's give you something. Federer hasn't
Yeah,
had many three-betting hands.
We did see Phoenix defend against a 3-bet with Ace-7 a little while ago and actually fold on a sort of dry single paired board. This situation, you know, technically Ace-3 might be easier to play, but as Federer gets a bit shorter, you know, Phoenix decides to make a tightish laydown, and I don't really blame him for it.
Ace high still ahead here. Plus backdoor straight potential for Baby Federer. Backdoor club potential for Phoenix. So, those of you asking about chips, the starting stack in every heads-up match is 100k, so the chips will be reset for the final. Whoever meets Vieira in that final round will have 100k. Old Nazza will have 100k. The blinds will go back to 400, 800, and they will play with a 20-minute clock. GTO Noob says it would be nice to have the big blind view. I mean, luckily we don't need that. We got the human calculator. Oh.
Well, we
blinds
did
have
have
gone
the
to
human
600.
calculator.
1200.
Just lost his powers. Like
you know what? I'll do it on the next hand. The human calculator is ready. Ask me on the next hand.
Stay in your pocket, Joe. Come on, we don't mess around past 100,000. You know that, baby. Come on, you're a star.
I will tell you exactly how many big blinds each player has. Human calculator ready to go. At the start of the next hand, I got it.
So top pair versus second pair. Baby Federer almost a 9-1 favorite.
Yeah, and a real license to bet. Quite large here. You know, you're expecting to fold out most non-paired hands here, so you may as well just go big and try to get a hand like an 8 or a 3 to call a big bet. And Fenix is way too high up in his range to fold this 8-7.
Does not improve on the river.
And this is going to be a pretty big swing pot here. If Federer bets anywhere close to pot, we're looking at things going back to around 125 to 75k. But Fenix seems like he's been in the zone so far in this heads-up match. It's going to be a big bet.
This will be one of the few showdowns we've seen Federer win.
Federer does bet close to full pot, 13,923. But can Fenix find the fold?
I think Fenix is very capable of finding the fold here. You know, this did go check on the flop, which indicates to me, if I'm sitting in Fenix's seat, that you're trying to sort of find bluffs, and, you know, maybe 9-10, Queen 10. If Jack 10's checking back,
does fold
too, but makes the right fold, yeah.
And that brings this session to an end. Sadly, Joe, we're not going to be in a position to ask you about the blinds at the start of the next hand. When we come back from break, we'll do it then. Yes, there will be more heads-up action on the other side of this 5-minute break. A reminder, Nazza's through to the final. Fenix and Baby Federer will continue to play for the second seat in the final when we come back in 5 minutes. We're going to use this break to get an update on the series. This is day 10 of the World Championship of Online Poker. Our man from the PokerStars blog has the latest stats and stories. Hopefully, he'll share them with us. Yes, please welcome our WCOOP correspondent. He's got the looks, he's got the brains, he's Howard Swains. Howard, I want to start with the 2K PKO, and I guess there's two ways of looking at the result. Obviously, disappointment for Lex, but on a more positive note, we had our first triple winner of the series.
We did indeed, that's right. He is a very well-known player as well. It's Rui Ferreira, who we all know as Rui NF. He became our first triple champion. So he won that 2K event for 122K. It's the 5th of his career, and interestingly, he's now won titles representing the Czech Republic, the Netherlands, and now Brazil, but he's actually Portuguese.
Okay.
So, yeah, as we know, he knocked out Lex in 4th with his huge Twitch audience rooting for Lex. And Lex took 32K, so it's a good result, but he's still looking for the win. And Stefan Random Chu was second in that one, but good for Rui. 3 for him now.
I got to be honest. I am somewhat missing streaming the Sunday Million. I know there was a replay earlier, but, you know, I had to watch television. Howard, I would be really grateful if you could just, you know, recap the result.
Okay, well, here we go. So the Sunday Million this year was actually a low designation WCOOP tournament, but it was still massive, of course. A 109 buy-in, a PKO format, and 1.4 million in the prize pool from 14,000 entries. Brazil's Amaury Guchanski took it down. It was the biggest win of his career, and he banked 121K for that, including bounties.
Okay, so far you've mentioned two winners. They're both Brazilian. Plus, I'm being told Bellarmino de Souza shipped the World Championship of PLO 8 last night. I'm guessing that overall, yesterday was a regular Fat Tuesday.
Yeah, it kind of was. So it's always feast or famine with Brazil, and it was a feast yesterday. So they won 5 tournaments. They're up to 30 already for this year. The UK are still in second, but they are 19 behind now on that country's leaderboard. And I think it's fair to say we're not going to see a change at the top of that for the rest of the series.
Okay, well, let's focus on Norway again, because we had Tobias Leknes, Senkel 92, railing last night's FT, and he was very keen, Howard, to tell us how the Norwegians are doing.
Yeah, well, they're doing very well. That's why. So, we always know they're really good when it's like a non-standard variant, and they won 2 of the 3 titles in the stud high-low last night. Good Fahren won the $11 low, and Holt Keeler won the 1K high. And that last result is worth highlighting because he beat Dennis Strebkov, Adrenaline, who is the all-time WCOOP leader with 9 titles. But he got a second place last night, and it went to Holt Keeler of Norway.
All right, well, as long as we're talking about most decorated WCOOP players, let's focus on the player of the series race.
Sure, yeah, well, it's Kelvin Kerber. He's still leading the overall race, but we've got our 3-time winner, Rui Ferreira, just behind there, and Benny Glaser had 1 place further back. Now, Glaser came second last night in a Hold'em tournament, and that is very unusual. He doesn't normally play that, but he came second, and he was a chip leader heads up as well. So very close from Benny, but he's still in 3rd place in the overall player of the series race.
We're hoping that Benny can join us on the stream next week. Finally, Howard, headline stats.
$35 million in the prize pool, nearly 400,000 entries across the series. But when we speak again, they are going to be much, 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 much bigger.
Worth highlighting that you can't join us on Tuesday. We'll catch up Wednesday. I will do my best to take the information, you post it on the blog, and make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. But Howard, have a great weekend. We'll catch up with you next Wednesday.
Goodbye. Cheers.
A reminder, no stream on Monday. We'll be here on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And, of course, we have to see who takes down today's tournament, the World Championship of Heads Up No Limit Hold'em. Cards are in the air. Just very quickly, Joe, before you go on break, just wanted to give a quick shout out to Vivi, one of our production team, who leaves us after today, midway through the series, couldn't even see out the whole of WCOOP.
I'm a big Vivi fan. She can do what she wants. Congrats. Happy trails.
Thank you, Vivi, for everything. You will be missed. Joe, you won't be missed. Go on break. Eat a hot dog.
Bye.
Ooh, the juiciest of turn cards. See, as soon as it's just you and me, James, things get hot.
The Ducks, they are a-flying.
Yes, and the clubs are out there. So Baby Federer are going to have a lot of reason to, I would imagine just play this as a call, but you never know.
No club. So before the break, it looked like Baby Federer was going to potentially get the ship back on course. And here comes another shot from Phoenix.
But that's also just the nature of poker. You think about these 2 hands here. This is a really big 2-street cooler as Phoenix tries to squeeze a little value on the river from those 7x and certainly those King X hands that will snap call this river. But positions are reversed here. Phoenix is going to be calling pre-flop ace-8, floating that flop with the backdoor clubs, calling again. So as well as Phoenix has been playing, certainly a lot of luck plays into how some of these hands are going to play out against these very talented players.
So flush draw didn't get there. This would be an ace-high hero call, but nope. Baby Federer makes the call. 3-1 chip advantage for Fenix. Blinds currently 600, 1200. Will go up in 12 minutes time.
One thing I have noticed is, these players do not have a walk range. You would think 10-4 off, hands like that
Griffin.
might be considered folding, but they just play them as raises. Just raise every button.
Not seen a single walk in this heads-up match, and now we get the re-raise, the 3-bet from Fenix, who has 9s, and the tray deuce of clubs folds. And of course, this is not just worth a seat in the final, Griffin. It's also worth a significant difference in prize money. 34,500 for third. If you do make it to the final, you're guaranteed 57.5k. And of course, will be Stevens with the other fella in contention for the 6-figure top prize. The other fella, of course, being Old Nazar, João Vieira, who won his semi-final inside of 5 minutes and is waiting for this match to finish so he can play for the win.
Fenix with a really nice 2-barrel there. We do see that he had the best hand with that 3, but if you think about the range of outcomes in that hand, were Fenix to check back the turn, and would have been really difficult, I think, to win with all the bluffs that Federer was going to be able to make, as well as rivering, a 5, 4, or a 7.
Not a lot for Fenix to be excited about here, and Fenix will fold.
Great opportunity here to take some chips down pre-flop. I think this is probably the bottom of the range. You're prepared to get in for just over 30 big blinds in this particular format, so you're not afraid of shoving or 3-bet calling. Interesting decision to just shove over 30 bigs there. I think that comes from not wanting to give your opponent an opportunity to, 4-bet shove in an ace-x type hand that you're technically behind. All the hands you're dominating will probably lean more call than fold to a 3-bet. Hands like King 10 off, King Jack off, Queen 10 suited.
I don't know whether you heard Howard talking about the ongoing success of Brazil, Griffin, and the number of titles they won last night. This is one WCOOP that Brazil will not be claiming. We have Baby Federer from Bulgaria, Fenix from Ukraine, and João Vieira now plays from the United Kingdom. And a win for the UK would help us close the gap on Brazil. So, go Nazar.
Backdooring into a straight and a straight wheel draw. Straight flush wheel draw if another card came. There you go.
Yeah, there are only
Where's
5 community cards.
No oceans?
It can't be a legitimate street flash draw, Griffin, when there are no more cards to come.
Oh, these rules you make up. You hide behind them.
I'd love to say I created the rules. I'd love to say I was the creator of this game and had somehow trademarked it. So every time someone played a hand of No Limit Hold'em, I got royalties.
And you would really truly establish that it is hold cards. If you were the Stan Lee of poker, everyone would have to listen to the fact that that's the reality.
And I would be insistent that the game be referred to by its full unabbreviated name, which is No Limit Hold'em.
No. We can't. Listen, Stan, we can't go that far. We can't do the hold them. I won't hold them. Can't do it.
Griffin, you have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Do you, though?
So Fenix had the open-ended straight draw. River's a flush draw. A pair of threes is actually good here, and Fenix is not going to bluff this river.
Yeah, and you think, oh no, why didn't Fenix bluff there? Baby Federer only had a 3. The problem is, I think, in a lot of ways, the 2 clubs on board, because that makes it that Fenix not only is going to have those straight draws of 9-10, 10-8, and 9-8, but all those, club draws that will also be bluffing. So I think Baby Federer would have been able to find a call with that 3 sometimes, simply because it's very difficult for Fenix to have an ace there, really have a hand to value bet in the first place.
Right now, pair of threes is the best hand, but it's the spade draw for Baby Federer, a bet of 7,500 from Fenix. And again, want to highlight, we know little to nothing about this player. No,
we know he likes the
WCOOP
2-barrel with the bottom
Yes.
pairs. And both times it's been correct. And now rivering that 3. Let's make it 3 of a kind.
And the board bricking out for Baby Federer. We know a fair amount about Baby Federer. Very strong heads-up player. By the way, Baby Federer beat Patrick Brooks, the big dog, in the quarterfinals to earn their seat here today. Won a Scoop heads-up high roller event back in 2015. That was worth 123 grand.
Yeah, so no stranger to this format, and obviously very comfortable here.
Pair of jacks for Fenix. Near enough, 95% equity. 2,100. Baby Federer decides to check raise this flop with not much. And you can't go folding a jack here, Griffin. Ooh, equity alert, equity alert.
Yeah, I think at this stage maybe Federer is trying to create a bit of his own luck. Things haven't been going his way. We can see, of course, that Fenix does have that jack and will be continuing, but that's not always going to be the case. I mean, we've talked about the opening ranges of Fenix, opening things like 10-4 off, so certainly could just have something like 10-5 off, Queen-3 off, so many hands that will fold to this kind of pressure. And the question does become, can Federer get Fenix to fold a jack by the river? I think if it can even work on the turn, you can see how effective that hand was. Really nice play there.
So Federer wins that one, but we still have a 3-1 chip advantage for Fenix in this second semi-final in the World Championship of Heads Up No Limit Hold'em. The winner of this semi-final meeting João Vieira in the 5th and final round, competing for the trophy and the first prize of more than 100K. That's right, Tom. The abbreviation should be NLHT. No Limit Hold Them.
Yeah, I think this spot is really just advantage whoever decides to bet it. Fenix, might have been interested in mixing in some leads there. We see that a lot when a low card pairs and you're just the caller in the blinds, but elected not to, and a big bet from Federer is going to take it down. And the tides are turning, James.
For Baby Federer, a little bit of momentum and a little bit of card distribution going Baby Federer's way. Snoozy says, if I was the guy waiting for the final table, I'd probably fall asleep, I'm sure of it. João Vieira has one eye on this match. He's probably playing 1,000,001 other tables as well. He is fine. Don't you worry about old Nazar. He'll be ready to go when the time comes, competing for his 7th WCOOP title. Saw him get a runner-up finish last week. Can he go one better in this heads-up championship?
You know, just for fun here, if he's searchable on PokerStars, I can probably see how many tables he's playing. Or if he's just waiting there in the cut on the one table.
Nice try, Phoenix. But if I were you, I would now wave the white flag of surrender. Do you think we get another bluff here, Griffin?
I mean, it's come this far, but it's a bit difficult with that paired 9 and the paired 6. You know, you're going to expect your opponent to so often have either that 9 or that ace. You know, you do unblock the hearts, so maybe if you're thinking that your opponent is prepared, yeah, and I think this is what this is. You don't, you know, want to lose to queen 7 of hearts or something like that. That's where that small bet is. It's kind of a last-ditch effort, but it's not going to work, and maybe therein lies the problem sometimes with playing 100% on the button. You find yourself in these really low equity situations where you feel like you have to bluff, and suddenly the match is closer to even.
Does change the dynamic. 125,000 playing 75,000. And again, a board that goes Baby Federer's way, pairing that 7.
It's always coming 7.
Phoenix drawing pretty thin here. $6K into $8K. Gets a fold. 120K plays 80K. Don't call it a comeback. No, seriously, call it a comeback. Baby Federer definitely on the offensive right now and definitely has momentum. As the blinds go up to 700, 1400. Blinds going up every 15 minutes. And still a deep stacked heads-up match at this point in time, Griffin.
Yeah, with big blind just being 1,400, you know, we're looking at over about 150,000 big blinds in play.
Yeah. Real Bazooka Joe watching on YouTube. It says, when can we expect new rich Sam Squid back in the booth? So Sam is coming home this weekend. Sorry, next weekend. So Sam will be back to play the WCOOP main event. And if things don't work out for him in the main, he will join us at the very least for the last day of coverage, for the final table of the main event. And that means we might, just might, get a Griff Graff reunion. Nines losing to kings, and Baby Federer has a lock on this.
Yeah, and spades have missed here. You're really high up in your range. Phoenix is with these pocket nines. Probably going to have to call a lot of sizes here, and you can see going quite big with that 9,100, and suddenly we're close to even.
Oh, John Delano, outstanding work. Baby Federer has netted some pots recently to increase the volume of chips, serving notice to Phoenix.
Oh, here in this on this flop here for Baby Federer, there's a deuce.
Nice, Griffin. Keep it going. Keep it going.
See what you're doing. It's what we're doing together. Federer doesn't love this check raise. Too much?
No, it's awesome. Fenix has the bond. 7-5 of spades. And a decent flop with the flush draw. Third pair. Bottom pair for baby Federer.
Yeah, good opportunity for Fenix, I think, to win this pot based on the run out. You have the aggressive action. You can fold out some queens by the river. But when the ace comes, it makes it a bit tougher. Because you're representing, a card that there is one less of now. You don't think you're going to fold out a king or a queen much often. And now you lose this pot.
So much promise. So much promise on the flop. Denied on the turn. Denied on the river. And action has been checked to Fenix, who has to decide whether to bluff here with 7 high.
It's tough. You're repping pretty thin here. You're repping a checked back king, effectively. You also, maybe you want to bet this much to fold out some jack and 10 highs that would have called on the flop. But can you fold out a queen? I think Federer's hand might just be a bit too strong. You're repping so thin with this big bet.
Makes the call, Griffin.
And advantage, baby Federer!
It is advantage Federer, although pretty much even Stevens. But we have seen a full momentum shift now. Pair of deuces for Federer. The nut flush draw for Fenix. $5K bet, and Federer with just bottom pair here.
Yeah, but if you are going to check back that bottom pair, you need to be prepared to call a decent amount of the time here because your opponent's going to be betting so many bluff type hands, not just spades, but hands like 6-7 that it would have now made a pair on the river, some 9-10s, queen 9s, and the ilk. Winner with the Brunson.
And now has queens.
Yeah, and a very strong hand in King 10 here. Not one I think you want to be folding to a 3-bet necessarily when you're playing this deep. So we could have a 25K pot here going to the flop if Fenix elects to continue.
Griffin, queens is a tennis club in Barron's Court.
That's a little too deep cut for me, baby.
Sorry. 11,000
doubles.
to
Good one,
100.
Jess Alice J. Queens,
That's
I
a bit
think
more
you mean
mainstream.
ladies doubles.
The key thing is, tennis puns aside, the advantage very much now with Federer. That was an unintentional one. And now has 7s. And I wonder, looking at this from Fenix's perspective, Griffin, when you've had that 3-1 advantage, when you feel that you've opened up this lead, when you then lose that lead and your opponent starts to gain momentum, how is it possible to not be psychologically destroyed by that and start feeling defeat, even though you still have 80K?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think, psychologically destroyed might be a bit strong. These are players that have played on the big stage and these high stakes. I know watching it at home and you're seeing it, you're just like, oh my God, this is a disaster. But this is like what they've signed up for. They know that these are the ebbs and flows of these things. Fenix was playing really well at the beginning, but was also running really well. Baby Federer has, taken a couple of stabs in some spots that when Fenix sees, was bluffed in a couple of spots to get Federer just really brought himself back into this match and then the luck started to turn in his favor as well. So I think what's very, very clear to me, and I think probably everyone else watching at home, is that these are two very, very talented, capable players that are going to be very tough outs down the stretch here.
And Phoenix has managed to win a couple of pots to get things almost back to even. This could be interesting. Two decent hands here. Ace-10 suited versus 7-6 suited. Button raise.
Yeah, very strong heads-up hands. A lot of potential for both. I'm not surprised that this is played as a 3-bet from Phoenix. You know, you're going to fold out all those random raises, and then going to get calls from even a great deal of the value hands that are technically better, like Ace-10 suited. There's so few hands that either player is really going to be prepared to get in. So you get to see, when you are called, you get to see a flop as the aggressor. And we can see here out-flopping Baby Federer. And without a backdoor club to speak of, maybe we see a fold sometimes from Federer, but the price is too good. Alexis see one more, and look at how big this pot is getting, James.
Yeah, 34k near enough in the middle. Pair of sixes, the best hand, plus Phoenix has the insurance of the flush draw. Baby Federer with just ace high. And there is the flush for Phoenix, and it gives Baby Federer a pair. Second pair on board with top kicker.
Yeah, just going to be incredibly difficult to fold if you're Baby Federer. We can see it is second pair. We can see backdoor diamonds have come in, but in a weird way, it is kind of effectively top pair, because when you float that flop and the queen comes and you don't see a bet from Phoenix, you know, that 10, I think, does increase in your estimations of its value. So this is going to be a very tough spot for Baby Federer. You know, Phoenix is going to have a wide range 3-betting pre-flop. Sometimes you can see if he's 3-betting 7-6 suited, it's going to be 3-betting, you know, ace-4 of spades, which could be taking this line, trying to fold out a 9 or a 6, or maybe like a pocket 7s or something. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a call here.
Running out of time.
What a big fold it would be. What a beautiful fold. Wow.
Makes the fold. But it is advantage Phoenix, who now has the queens, opens to 3.5k. King Jack for Baby Federer, who calls. Queen still good. The gut shot for Federer. And now we have a street flash draw, Griffin. Oh, 6 of spades. Boring.
Would like to see Phoenix go for some river value here. You have to expect your opponent would probably have bet an ace on the turn there. You want to target those curious 10s and those jacks that think you might be value betting even worse, and right away snaps it off.
In the days leading up to the start of this series, I don't know whether you saw, Griffin, but we were counting down like, I think, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And each day we were putting out on social media a kind of key hand from old WCOOPs. Some of the best moments, I guess, that happened from last year's series and the year before. And my absolute favourite, and I'd forgotten about it, was the straight flush hand, where I think you called for us to end the stream. WCOOP is over. It can't get better than this. Street flash. And your genuine enthusiasm and excitement just brought a big smile to my face.
Oh, that's awesome. Is there like is it on YouTube or something, a compilation that I can watch?
I imagine it probably is in a compilation somewhere. But yeah, if you go back on the kind of PokerStars timeline on Twitter, for example, and see the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, one of the hands that counted down to the start of WCOOP was that moment.
Great.
Don't do it now. I need to focus on the heads-up battle.
You could tell. I was like, oh, I'm not doing anything right now. I'll just go watch this. It sounds fun.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of spades. Spades for days. And two hands that will not be folding pre-flop. Federer will be calling here. we will get a flop.
Jack high is ahead right now.
Yeah, and you're not really thrilled when you're Fenix here, making that big 3-bet, getting called and then seeing this board because Federer, oh, what a beautiful float. And this is just hugely advantage Federer because of the audacity of this float. Look at the pot now. There's only an SPR of just over 2-1. Just really, really nice stuff. Now you've turned some showdown value. Do you check that back? Probably not, right? You want to tell the story that you have an ace here or a king, but does check it back. Maybe because that is what you would do with a king, and you want to be able to tell that story in the river. Maybe you just think your 7's good. We do what we can to try to get in the heads of these absolute sharks. Tell you what, though, if it does go check, James, it would be pretty tilting for Fenix to see this is how he lost the chip lead.
Well, that makes you wonder if Fenix is going to try and steal this. It does. Goes near enough full pot. This would be a pretty awesome hero call, and worth highlighting, Baby Federer had a big tank a couple of hands ago, does not have a lot of time bank left.
Yeah, I guess the question becomes, Fenix, what are you trying to represent here? But does get it through simply because of the hand trick of Federer is just not good enough.
Queen 10 versus Queen 6. No queen on the flop. Queen 10 high still ahead. So Fabio, this is the second semi-final. João Vieira won the first. He is through to the final and is sitting back waiting to see whether he will face Fenix or Baby Federer in that last round. This is a shootout format that started yesterday with 46 players. They played down to 4 yesterday after 3 rounds. And a pair of 3s for Baby Federer to go with the 6s on board.
And Fenix might be thinking this is a decent candidate to check raise. You have the heart in your hand, you can turn some more equity with a card like a 10-7 especially, and a 5. You're really going to put a lot of pressure against unpaired hands that are just continuation betting. We can see, of course, Baby Federer doesn't have an unpaired hand, but has 2 pair. One of the worst you can have with that 10-3. But how prepared is Baby Federer to deal with this response? And I like to see this check here from Fenix because it tells me that it's sometimes you just take that one stab. James, we've talked about the kind of ranges we've seen these buttons open being, and this is a good candidate for a stab like that because sometimes you do get called, you turn more equity, you turn top pair, but oftentimes you're just folding out queen 4 off. And then you win the pot that way. So, yeah, sometimes you just want to take that one shot, but you don't need to be like, okay, I am now this great writer. I am this great storyteller. I'm going to tell this story that I have a 6. No, it's just I took my shot. It's okay. It's okay. You have it, and move on.
Blinds have just gone to 800, 1600. 15-minute clock in this semi-final.
Wow, and Fenix, that was really a message send, a one and done, like a bit similar to the 8-9 spot. Just like, I'm going to put pressure on here with this no equity hand and see if I can keep that momentum flowing back in my direction.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got to say, James, this is an incredible advantage for old NASA to have finished that match so early and have all this time, you know, to really be able to watch. It's, you know, it's hard to say if necessarily he'll be able to watch this before his match starts, as you know, we are on a delay. But
Yes.
you know, everything up until this point, most of it he will be able to see and see some of those, you know, whatever it is he's going to be looking for, betting patterns, timing things, tendencies on certain runouts, and really going to be able to use that to advantage. I would definitely put my money on NASA once we get heads up.
Well, this is all Fenix. Had a pair of kings and the flush draw on the turn. Still has a pair of kings. Bet 6 into 7.
And Federer really had a rough go of it, James. A lot of spots like this. Hasn't always been right, Federer, but you know,
Yeah.
all these times it's, you know, it hasn't always been wrong either. That time just ran right into it.
So as we've said a few times this evening, not a lot known about Fenix as a player. We know that Baby Federer is a heads-up beast who won a heads-up title during WCOOP in 2015. Neither player has a WCOOP title to their name. Meanwhile, João Vieira, who will be their opponent in the final, is going for his 7th WCOOP this evening. Fenix getting aggressive with the ace-6.
And this might just, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't fault Federer just shoving that in, but just calling is also going to play kind of nicely. I think a shove would have worked, but of course Fenix doesn't always just have ace-6 off. Beautiful for Baby Federer.
Yeah. This pot likely to be going Federer's way, having turned top pair. Interesting that Fenix has now slowed down, Griffin.
Yeah, you know, with just pot left behind effectively for Federer, not a lot of runway to get tricky here. You know, what do you do when that king comes? Maybe bet 15,000 and hope Federer was just floating with random cards on the flop. So that's therein lies the problem, and Fenix is just gonna have to check fold to the shove.
Is Fenix just trying to make this look good, or is this a serious contemplation with just ace high?
I think it's a serious contemplation that will lead to a fold, simply because this particular line doesn't really make sense with the jack. It really looks like, you know, 2 spades floated on the flop, or two hearts that. Oh boy.
Griffin.
Okay.
This could result in the sickest and classicest of all races. What a setup. The queens for Fenix, ace king for Baby Federer.
Yeah, you got to get back to your computer. It's about to. Wait, that would be in the past. Future? It's all in, boys. It's coming.
Nice try, Griffin. Didn't work. So, Baby Federer has re-raised, and Fenix, I guess, is trying to work out how much to bet to try and induce the shove, or maybe Fenix just shoves on Baby Federer. There's the re-raise to induce. Baby Federer will probably now move all in. Fenix will call, and we will be off to the races. And this is a flip that ace-king needs to win to survive. Queen's holding on the flop. And the turn, and the river. It's over. Baby Federer KO'd, and now the final begins. Congratulations to Fenix, who now faces João Vieira. And both players have ace-jack on the very first hand. Just a reminder,
Instantly.
Baby Federer
Bam.
gets 34.5 grand. Now both players guaranteed 57.5k, more than 100k up top. The stacks reset. 100,000 per player. Blind start of 400, 800.
Let's play poker.
And we could be doing some singing on the very first hand of this heads-up final.
I'm not going to bring any ham to this one. I'm going to be very serious, very British. I'll even do it in a British accent if you'd like.
No, that's exactly the definition of hamming, Griffin.
Oh, am I doing it wrong?
Of
Everyone
course,
loves
there
them.
is the prospect that this doesn't result in a chop. Another club would make things very interesting. It's not a club. And if this gets to showdown, it will be a chop. Griffin, the very first hand of this final results in a chop pot. And you know what they say? Everyone loves a chop pot.
a chop pot. Isn't it?
No. Not good. Bad.
I don't know. See, when I'm not hamming it, I'm off my game, James. I don't know what's going on. I'm all slow. You know.
All right. I give you permission to ham it up.
I just want to spread my wings, James. 10-6 suited. Will it be played as a flat? Will it be played as a 3-bet to 7,000? Only time will tell, James. But I think it's going to be a flat. See the way I timed that? Because I was actually going to say a 3-bet. Good flop for some action here between NASA and Fenix. Very astutely getting some value here with this bottom pair from Fenix. Going to get some calls by hands exactly like ace-8 off.
So Fenix with the slight advantage as this heads-up final begins, and opens with ace-queen, a dominated queen for NASA, queen 3, folds. And now opens with ace-9. I think I'm right in saying, Griffin, we still have not seen a walk.
You're right. And it seems increasingly less and less likely that we will see one. I have just been informed, though, that if we do get a walk in this heads-up match, we'd be giving away a platinum pass.
Fine, you want to pay for it? You're welcome to
I'm
give
just
one
kidding,
away.
guys. I'm not. They're screaming at me now. I'm not allowed doing that. I'm just kidding. I have no power here.
No, you have the power to spend your own $30,000 to pay for the platinum
Really?
pass, Griffin. Yeah, if
Do I
you
like
want to make that
much?
contribution,
Ugh.
if
It's like a
you want to pay for-
$24,000 bit to me. It's not quite 30. Hey, you know, talking about lawyers being in touch, you can't turn back now. Listen, once the walk happens, we'll discuss it.
The great thing is,
he
Griffin, you
kidding?
revealed yourself on Twitch earlier, so now everyone knows your handle and everyone knows
It's
how
true.
to DM you for more information about how they can claim their prize.
Joke's on them. I love attention. Shaguar_poker on Twitch. Hit me up. Queen 9 suited against deuces. Fair fight, I like to call it. Imagine Fenix just walks with the Queen 9 suited. Gonna take the edge here. The mid pair.
Has second pair, bets 1,400. NASA calls with deuces. Things just get better for Fenix on the turn.
Straight.
Yep. Oh, wow. River the straight, and your opponent's betting into you.
Hey, listen, sometimes you take some stabs. You know, you're hoping your opponent has something sort of a pair of nines or worse that might be able to find a fold, but this time didn't work out. And as a little bit of a hole to start things off.
Yeah. Top pair here for Nazar. A whole bunch of strawberries on this flop. Nazar bets with the best hand. Fenix opening with 8-7 offsuit. Nazar defending with King 4, and that's top pair on the flop for João Vieira.
Ooh, love the check back from Fenix, not wanting to dump any equity into this board that's going to be hitting Nazar a decent percentage of the time. Now turning this gut shot, does Fenix want to start betting? You know, you want to fold out maybe those 6x and ace high type hands, but does ace high even fold here on the turn? So I think Fenix is going to expect to get a call some percentage of the time here, and then depending on the river might decide to fire again. With that 4, you know, if you still want to tell a story to get a 10 or a 6 or ace high to fold, you got to bet again. We've seen a lot of this from Fenix in the semifinal match. Not necessarily big bets on the river, we do see it this time, but, you know, just trying to find a way to win, and that's going to switch the chip leads around, especially with that 2 pair for Nazar. Oh, dirty Nazar.
Winning the pot with kings and 4s, and now has the slight advantage over Fenix. Still pretty even, and still early doors. First blind level of the final.
Can I ask you, James, where does the expression early doors come from?
No idea, but I like it.
Really? It sounds very British, early doors. Is it like back in the day when you couldn't reserve your movie seat and you had to wait and you had to get the early doors?
Maybe.
Maybe. Don't know if you guys know this about James, but he waited for 33 hours for Phantom of the Menace.
Not true. I was actually on holiday when that movie opened. I'd booked a summer vacation in Greece, and I was actually really annoyed that I was away when the new Star Wars movie opened. And, of course, I came home to realize that I wasn't actually missing that much.
Yeah.
The disappointment I felt that day still haunts me 23 years later.
I'm trying to think of the ones where the really bad reviews upset me the most.
I didn't read any reviews. I deliberately avoided them, and I went in with such high hopes, such expectation. I was like, this film's really boring, really stupid, and I have no idea what's going on. The plot is illogical nonsense.
Yeah.
I know in the grand scheme of things it doesn't matter, but if anyone is able to explain to me what the hell is going on with the Trade Federation and the blockade of tax routes and treaties and whatever, good luck to you. Blinds up. 500 and 1,000. 20-minute blind levels now.
I bet there's like a very small contingency of people that watched that movie that got into politics because of it, like got interested in like trade routes and like all these sort of things because of seeing Phantom Menace. This stuff
Find me one
super interesting.
person.
This is captivating.
Find me one person who decided to start engaging with politics because of that movie.
And if I find that one person, I'm giving him a platinum pass. Oh, let's go.
You're going to get bitten on the arse sooner or later. By the way, Fenix has opened here with ace-3. Nazar has re-raised with jack-8. And I don't see Fenix folding their button with a suited ace, Griffin.
No. And
it's top pair versus second pair.
Yeah, flopping pretty well. You know, when you find yourself in a 3-bet pot and you flop mid-pair on an ace-high board, you know, your opponent's not always just going to have an ace, so you're expecting to get a lot of nice, clean folds here. But, unfortunately, my friend Naza, your opponent does have that ace.
Yeah, and no club on the turn to give Naza the flush draw. Still a pair of eights. Continued flop. Is João Vieira going to barrel the turn? Nope.
It's a bit tough to. Yeah. You know, you don't expect to be folding out any aces. You think your eight's going to be good some of the time. You're just really hoping for that check back and you improve or it bricks out. That's not the case. Now you're playing the ultimate guessing game. Did my opponent float with, you know, King Jack? Does my opponent have 9-10 of spades? Does my opponent have Queen 9 of spades?
So when Fenix
Do
goes
they
for
have an
value
ace?
here, Griffin, there's a decent chance that Naza's going to call here with an 8.
Yeah, the ace is a bad river because it makes it less likely that your opponent has an ace. That's one more that's not there in the deck for you.
Yeah.
The problem with that queen is you could also
There's
be
the
getting
call.
value bet by the king-queen floats on the flop. Maybe the queen-jack, backdoor flush draw kind of hands. So Naza does call because of the price, I think, that he was given. But really nice, well played from Fenix. I don't think necessarily Naza was going to be calling much more than that.
Well, Naza has a pair of sixes here, but the club draw and the gut shot straight draw for Fenix, facing a bet of 17.33. And the equity's still pretty close.
Yeah, you can see, obviously, Fenix's hand is so much prettier, but actually an underdog going to the river here, drawing two, but does hit that club. Underdog was a bit of an understatement as 54-46. 46 is going to come in, 46% of the time.
Well, Fenix opening up an advantage now over Naza on the second blind level of this final. Ace 3 for João Vieira, raises to 2,500, 10-7 for Fenix in the big. Defends, and two pair on board for Naza.
That's a nice flap.
But just 10 high, and Fenix folds. Oh, kings.
Oh!
But 6-3. 8-7 suited, but 5 deuce. Okay, we might get a flop here. Ace-7 opens. Well, this is the hand that João Vieira won his semi-final with. King-Jack offsuit. Defends. Ace-high still the best hand on a Queen 6-3 flop. And there is an ace on the desk, and that is top pair for Fenix. It does give Naza a straight draw.
Yeah, but Fenix probably going to be betting on the bigger side here, wanting to get value from those Queen X and clubs type hands. So King Jack, even though it's technically gained, you know, equity, you know, versus what you sort of had on the flop, now you have this, you know, gut shot to the Broadway, and that's why we see Naza is going to call again. You know, would hate to be folded out here. when your opponent has something like 5-7 or 4-5 and you're just folding, drawing to the nuts. But Fenix did turn that ace, did river that ace, and I think we're seeing a trend here so far of Fenix running quite well in the early goings of this heads up, if you think about the kind of hands we've seen so far. But Naza is going to be, just like, Fenix's last opponent in the semifinals, is going to be really, really tough.
Ooh, this is interesting, Griffin. The last time Fenix had trip aces, bet relatively small. On this occasion, goes for the overbet, and Naza now has a decision. Could he conceivably hero with king high here?
Well, Fenix is hoping that Naza is much higher in his range than just king high. Something like a pretty strong queen. This would be a very tough spot. But the hearts missed, the clubs missed. These are the kind of hands, if Fenix had 5-7 of hearts, 4-5 of clubs, or what have you. Even just the dry straight draws with one of those suits, or one of each, might be deciding, what, I'm going to bet blast here and see if I can fold out a queen. So that's really where Naza's thinking is coming from about whether to make this massive hero call. You have king jack, which doesn't have any clubs or hearts, so you unblock some of those completely dry card flush draw kind of hands. Jack 10 of clubs, or Jack 8 of hearts. These kind of hands can exist because you don't have the heart in your hand. So there's a lot going on in Naza's head, and I have a feeling, my experience of when I've seen Naza that take this kind of time, that is going to make the incorrect call and be at quite a deficit. But it's a very loose call for sure.
Seen Naza make some marginal hero calls in the past, and you're right, Griffin, using a substantial amount of his time bank. 60 seconds left on the clock. Whatever happens, this hand will take us to the break.
Yeah, and also Naza's asking himself, is Fenix the type of player that is going to overbet in the spot, try to get me to fold a queen? Or am I just leveling myself here and I'm going to pay out an ace or sixes full?
Naza with king high, 30 seconds left to make a decision. Fenix going big for value, overbetting with trip aces.
And it's so many other combos.
20 seconds.
10 deuce of hearts, 9-5 of clubs. So many different kind of flush draws that could have missed here.
Calls. That takes us to the break. So in this World Championship of Heads Up No Limit Hold'em, both semis concluded earlier. Ramastar and Baby Federer were the losing players. They cash out for $34,500 each. Now we're in the final. It's Fenix versus Naza, and big chip advantage to the Ukrainian. Fenix with $165,700. Naza 114 with $34,300. Let's get Joe Stapleton back into the arena, and just wanted to quickly talk about João Vieira as a player. We have seen Naza at many a final table. In fact, he was at the final table last week, finished second in that event. Officially now representing the UK, and a reminder, guys, that it's where your PokerStars account is registered that counts as your nationality when it comes to WCOOP. So it is a UK flag for João Vieira. We think that he has around $25 million in tournament earnings across all online sites. He beat David Yan in the quarterfinals last night to make it to the semi-final and the final of this championship. $5.9 million in live earnings, and already has 6 WCOOP titles. The first was back in 2018 in a fixed limit triple draw event. The most recent last year. In fact, he won two titles in the 2021 series, a 7 max freeze out, a 4 max PKO. Okay, does have a reputation, Griffin, for making those marginal hero calls, but clearly a very accomplished, very skilled, highly decorated player.
Yeah, I think if you're not made a fool like that and calling with king high in certain situations every once in a while, and be willing to do it on a stream as well, where thousands of people are watching you're probably not bluff catching enough. The reality is Naza is playing against some of the most talented players in the world. So players that are capable of such big moves, such big bluffs. If you've been watching all day today, you've seen the kind of bluffs that these players are capable of making in that particular spot with that particular bluff catcher, not a heart or a club in his hand with that king jack. I think we went into great detail about why that particular hand became such an attractive bluff catcher for Naza. And of course, when he does call there and is shown 3 aces, you're probably sitting there at home being like, what is this guy doing? How lucky is this Portuguese, British, whatever guy that he has all these bracelets and WCOOPs? Well, it's because he's really on another level where a call like that makes sense in the right situation. And sometimes it's going to make him look foolish.
Joe, one thing I always worry about, whether it's hero fail animations or creating a meme around old Naza, is what are the players actually going to think of this? But I believe you spoke to João Vieira sometime last year after we covered a scoop or a WCOOP, and he did say that he enjoys the coverage, which makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what he thinks of that particular animation being played over his hero fail there, but I will say that when there's plenty of good commentary to go along with it, I think all of these poker players, just to second what Griffin just said, they all understand how that play looks in a vacuum, and they all understand that, like me, for example, I would never call there in a million years, and that's because I'm incredibly exploitable as a player because I'm never going to call down with king high. So I think that the 25 million plus winnings that Naza has in his lifetime is a little bit, is enough to make up for the fact for maybe like the little sting of that animation in that moment. But yes, we have chatted before. He is a fan of the coverage. He gets what we do. One of the cool things I think that people ask me all the time, like, hey, do poker players ever get mad at the stuff you do? And I'm like, not never, but not very frequently at all. And I think that's a credit to the fact that they're very intelligent people. And very intelligent people tend to understand humor and where it's coming from. So I'm not, even in that one particular instance, I'm not that worried about it.
Griffin, we've got the mystery man, Phoenix from Ukraine, who overcame the heads-up beast that is Baby Federer, and now seems to be getting the better of Naza, has that better than 3-1 chip advantage when we come back from break.
Yeah, I mean, has played really well over the course of these 2 matches, and I think is capitalizing on running particularly well early on here against Naza, but finding ways to really maximize the paydays. We've seen some of the sizing and how acutely aware I think Phoenix has been of Naza's range in certain spots, and maybe how willing Naza is how prepared Naza is to call super late in some spots, and then sort of maybe betting a little smaller in a spot where there's middling sort of bluff catcher. So I've been really pleased with the way Phoenix has been played, but I wouldn't be surprised if Naza, puts up a real fight here down the stretch.
Absolutely. Well, cards in the air once again. I will take a break. I will leave you with the expertise of Mr. Benja and Mr. Stapleton.
Whoa. Expertise applies to both of us. Hello, my babies. Welcome back to the final match of the World Championship Heads Up event in the World Championship of Online Poker 2022.
Joe, did you just get promoted to expertise? I don't know if he's ever used that word with you before. That's exciting.
He said the expertise of Griffin Benger and Joe Stapleton, so I'm not sure if the distributive property of the parentheses applies.
We'll say it's both.
John Delano mentioning, this could get messy. Top pair versus top pair. Messy for Phoenix, it looks like, though, as Naza is very likely to show down the winner.
Yeah, and hopefully for Naza's sake, this is an indication, a sign of things to come. You can see Phoenix is actually going for big value here with this ace-5, expecting Naza more often than not to be calling twice here with a 10. Not super likely Naza is going to have a better ace. And I'll tell you what, this would be a pretty tight check back from Phoenix. You don't expect your opponent here to really have a better ace very often. Any ace better than probably 10 and a lot of suited ones would have 3-bet pre-flop. Maybe not a lot of suited ones because Naza only started with 40 big blinds, but ace 10 plus is 3-betting. Ace 9 maybe just calling. So Fenix is now going for that value from hoping to get called by that 10, all those 10x hands, and then when Fenix faces this all-in shove, is really going to be put in the blender.
Phoenix betting 40-50 on the river. Naza, I'm sure, contemplating a raise. There it is to 18-8, a little 4xer. And a pretty quick call from Phoenix is going to put Naza back in this game. Reduces that chip lead to around 2-1 now.
Yeah, a little surprised that Fenix sort of turbo snapped that one off, but maybe it was just that was where that kind of came in on the decision tree. Do I want to shove this river for near pot? Do I want to bet sort of half pot, or do I just want to bet really small to try to get, maybe a 10 to turn itself into a bluff, or a queen jack to just shove, and I'll just snap call. But happened to ran into the very top of the range there with the ace 8.
Naza flops a flush draw here. Turns.
And a gata.
The straight draw he already had. Not much going on for Phoenix other than the high card.
Get out of there,
waiting.
Phoenix.
Naza takes another small one. Ace 9 suited this hand.
$9,000. 8,000.
Phoenix raising. 3-bet coming out of Naza's corner. And a fold from Queen Deuce. It's 3 in a row for Naza. Pocket 10s this time for Phoenix. And Naza likely to be the one facing the 3-bet.
8,500. I just want to guess the exact.
Pretty good, bud.
Just one
Pretty
time.
good. Dominated 6 for
get a
Phoenix
walk?
this time. Griffin, did you happen to notice? I know you've been out of town and living your life. Did you happen to notice that
The Corn Kid? Yeah.
the Corn Kid is awesome?
Corn
I'm
Kid
into
on
the Corn
TikTok.
Kid. Wait, I
Yeah.
shouldn't say it like that. I'm a fan of the Corn Kid. Naza makes the call with 8-6-1 spade on this flop. Did you notice that, like, mere days after we bought that Ninja Turtles game, they released, like, every single Ninja Turtles side-scroller that's ever been made in, like, a package? For
I
like
did
35 bucks?
notice that. So my friend messaged me and said this great game just came out called Immortality. And I was just like, I'm not really playing a lot of games. I just started playing this neon white game. He's like, oh, it's on Game Pass. And I'm like, didn't I subscribe? I don't play my Xbox anymore, but I feel like I'd subscribed to some sort of PC Game Pass. So actually, just before we went on air today, I checked if I had some PC Game Pass, and I do. I bought the year pass, and there's just every game, including Shredder's Revenge, which I had bought on PlayStation to play with you for clearly no reason now, and all these other games. I put a queue of 20 games that I'd like to play, and I'm going to get ready for fall and winter, but I'm not surprised to see that I bet those games are all on Game Pass, all the Turtles ones.
Woo! Naza outflops Phoenix, but Phoenix is going to town here with the ultra backdoor semi-bluff raise. Does not get a fold from the pair of fours.
And this was something we saw from Phoenix in the semifinal match. Check raising a flop with a hand that can turn some decent equity and then giving up. And I think that's the reason I brought it up, is because I think that's something with this 8 on the turn that we're going to see again from Phoenix. I think sometimes it works against the 5-4 of Naza, but given how sticky Naza can be, and correctly so, would have been in this spot, we see that this was a one and done. But would not have been a one and done had Phoenix, turned a little equity, maybe a 3 or a spade, a 6.
Such a small bet from Naza. Gets the fold from Phoenix. And Naza clawing his way back. Man, it's second pair on this flop. Gut shot for Phoenix. It's got the juice.
It's got the juice.
No gut shot on the turn for Phoenix. It's the queen of clubs. Gonna see a big fire here for Phoenix, huh? Yeah, we do.
The
Queen of Clubs does resemble Dennis Nedry, I'll give you that.
Naza
And
will
the
not
river
fold.
is the Queen of Diamonds.
And I want to dedicate this hand to all the kids out there that didn't believe in Naza when he made that king high call and were LMAOing in capital letters. Are you calling the third pair here on the turn correctly, are you? Maybe.
It
I don't
only
know you
counts
very
if
well,
he calls,
but
if he calls river too, Griffin.
this is why I'm setting it up, because I think that he will. The clubs misses, the jack 10 misses, the deuce 5 misses, the 4-5, all the draws miss, and Naza's gonna snap him off, and then everyone's gonna say, wow, that guy is good. He would have looked like a fool if Phoenix had ace king here, but he doesn't. He's got the deuce 5. Naza, make me look cool. Make us look sick.
There
Thank you.
it is. The hero call. If you're going to play it when he fails, you got to play it when he saves the day. Naza back over 85,000 now. Phoenix's lead negligible at this point.
Ooh, Joe's using
Greg
big
B asks,
words.
when's the last time you guys showered? I don't know, Griff, what time did Greg's dad leave for work?
I've showered twice in the last 15 hours. Something like that. I'm all clean.
Three's faring well at the moment. Blocking the straight draw.
Oof.
Uh-oh. Whoops.
Has
Just
made
one end of
Phoenix
it.
the best hand. But
That's a
tell you
straight
what,
turn.
and this is sort of another thing to, I think you need to remember based on these kind of hands we've seen Naza calling down is, just because Naza's calling rivers with king high sometimes, that doesn't mean he's calling everything else that's even better.
Wow.
We see the snap fold, and that's why I brought it up. The
Wow.
snap fold from the pocket threes there, and the contextually the situation is really the most important factor there, and a snap fold with the pair on that board.
Naza with a dominated ace, although it is suited.
I'm going to be very
Should
curious
see
to
a three
see
bet.
how.
No, just a call?
Just a call. Mm-hmm. I like it. I like it a lot.
And not a lot of hope for Naza to win this pot. Although maybe Phoenix isn't quite as capable of calling down with a weak holding. But no, looks like probably too much showdown for everybody at this point.
Joe, did you see the God of War Ragnarok story trailer came out yesterday? Today? Yesterday.
You know, I saw that the game had a release date and all that, but it looks to be the same style as the last God of War, and I just wasn't a fan of that one.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I bring it up because I found the writing in the trailer to be a huge standout. Some really great lines in that new story trailer that has me excited for the story aspect of it.
Pair of 10s good for now for Naza. Not a super hopeful straight draw here for Phoenix, and gets away.
And I'm no human calculator, but you got to imagine these blinds are going to be going up pretty soon. Still at that 501K level.
Queen Jack for Naza, Ace 4 off for Phoenix.
Queen Jack's going to be too strong for Naza to fold. So we are going to see a flop. And I like Naza's chances with position. That's not the kind of board that he wants. But facing such a small size does give license to Naza to maybe elect to peel one off, try to turn a jack or a queen or a 9 or a 10, or just maybe see Phoenix slow down and be able to steal the pot away. You would have liked to have had a spade in your hand floating that flop, but Naza, maybe near the bottom of his range of what he'd be willing to call, is now going to maybe want to start telling a story. You know, has some 7s, some 8s here. Could fold out some hands, but it's not going to be now with the double paired board, and that's too bad for Naza. You know, sometimes you don't necessarily have some big design, but more of a you're getting such a good price, and you are getting the right price against a hand like Ace 4. But you're sitting there as Naza. How are you going to get Phoenix to fold to pair with the ace? You're not, so you just have to give it up.
Nothing but boring number cards. Blinds 600, 1200 now. Another Queen Jack, another Ace 4. Did we just see this?
No, this is the same hand. We're doing a quick replay, but we've decided to switch the dealer button around. Just
okay, if the flop comes 7 deuce, that's going to be weird.
Yeah, 7, 8 deuce, 2 spades.
This time there is some pictures out there. There are some pictures. Pair of jacks. Uh-oh, a diamond draw for both players.
Yeah.
Naza out in front, does not want the diamond.
And Phoenix probably wants to just start betting to fold out some hands that might just be able to river you. You know, maybe something like 7-8 can just hit a pair on the river. Sometimes get some value from some worse hands.
Ooh,
and gets there
2
on
per.
the river.
A second pair for Phoenix.
Bugie 22 with a great reference.
That's right. I always forget this one.
Get Kiki in here. We were diamond chasing last week. Oh, Naza. Oh, brave, formidable, friendly Naza. What shall you do?
I think we know Naza likes to call in these spots. He does, in
nice
fact,
timing.
call.
Yeah, Joe, that was pretty sick. I didn't know you were sick like that.
And Naza insta raises ace queen up against queen deuce suited. Should be getting a call pre-flop from Phoenix. And does 2, 3, 4, 5. Top pair would be bad for Naza. Ace high is winning, though, at the moment. Don't you think it's messed up that ace high could be ahead and then you make a pair of aces and then you're losing? That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't be right.
That's just not right.
You should be able to reject it like you can reject a penalty in the NFL. You're like, no, we're good. We're good. We're going to decline the pair of aces here. I declined the set that makes a straight for my opponent. Thank you. Ace queen. Still good after this run out.
Oh, I can't wait until Naza calls here. Because this just lends to so much of what we've been talking about, you know. Sure, it does seem like he's calling every time. Sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong. But that's what you have to do when you're playing $5,000.
He does make the call.
Heads-up matches.
Another hero call from Naza. So he's 2-2. I mean, Phoenix has just got to be like, what do I have to do to get this guy to fold? You'd probably...
This is what I will say also, I think, in the defense of some of the outraged comments over the King High call, is that the reality is, at this buy-in stage, at these kind of level of poker, there is more bluffing. So you need to call light more. You know, the stakes that you're playing on PokerStars or otherwise, you know, maybe you don't find yourself ever making these ace high or king high calls very, very often because maybe players aren't bluffing as much as they need to. So I think that's lends to the disconnect as well. This seems so outrageous because it's not something that you would ever see while you're playing, so you can't really borrow from your own experience. So that's something I think to think about as well.
All great points, Griffin. Phoenix raising this hand, Queen 8, King Jack, the Naza hand for Naza. 7,
Queen 8 is
5,
the Naza hand?
Deuce, 2 clubs. I feel like Naza's had King Jack many times today. Eight of clubs on the turn. That gives Phoenix a pair of 8s, but the better flush draw to Naza. 2 overs as well.
And now that you turn
Phoenix
that... Yeah.
Betting big.
King of clubs, you can't really fold. You know, your jack or king might still be live. We can see that it is. So I don't think Naza's going nowhere. Oh!
And Naza does spike the king on the river. Phoenix is effed.
And this is a particular situation where betting thin for value is going to come back and bite Phoenix in the little bottom. So
doesn't bet, though.
Decide to check.
No bet,
yes.
no bite. Naza checks it back.
No bet, no bite, no
Phoenix
bottom,
checks
bro.
it back.
What are you going to do?
And Naza, with the biggest chip stack we've seen in a while, the closest these two have come in some time. I like this comment from Jess Alice J, who says, fold to every river raise just in case, and you can't ever lose the potted showdown. Trip deuces for Naza.
Grumpity Grew says, hey, Griffin, what do you think is higher EV, checking the nuts or checking your You son of... Security!
You gotta read
Get
the whole
this
comment.
guy out of here!
You gotta read the whole comment first, Griffin.
Phoenix going for one of his patented flop check raises, maybe. Patented flop, maybe I'll turn some equity check raises. I turned some equity, now I'm going to start betting. That's been the trend we've seen from Phoenix. When he hasn't turned equity, he usually gives up. This 8 will equal continue storytelling time. Elects to go for small. And Naza's just going to keep on calling, baby. Keep on calling. I got 3 ducks in a row.
Naza putting in the raise. guess what, kids? This hand, assuming Phoenix doesn't try to get very lucky here, this hand's going to change something. You know what it is?
Tell him, Joe.
How I feel about capers on sandwiches.
How did you previously feel? Oh, hold that caper thought. We have a 4-bet alert on the flop. And
Bam,
you know,
bam, bam,
this just
bam.
comes-
4-bet alert.
This just comes from all the leveling we've seen over the course of this match. You know, doesn't think NASA has it here. Oh, baby doll.
My goodness. Well, at least this isn't a boat-making straight for Phoenix. It's just a Queen High River King. But NASA fills up, as they say. Snapple Fact writes in for the first time ever to write, rip.
Yeah, alarm bells got to be going off in the head of Phoenix here. I mean, we're looking at... Oh, my God, look at the pot, first of all.
69
Come on.
420, pretty good. Screenshot that.
Come on. Screenshot the
that.
69
Get that. Come on,
420.
guys. I don't
Where's
even care
John
what happens.
Delano?
Just pause it right
Come
here.
on. This is really important, guys. This is a
69
is this a-
420. Please tell me
Am I on
that,
punked right now? Ashton.
that Phoenix did
where's
that
Ashton?
on purpose. Ah, there it is. The greatest pot of all time. NASA jams. Phoenix going to be forced to fold. And not only is the chip lead going to change hands this pot, but they're going to completely flip-flop positions. Just take a moment to drink
Fenix
in the
just like,
69 420 pot.
What happened in his hand? that was weird. But come on. What an artist NASA is.
And-
Just think about that hand. Like, you know, not a lot of people are going to raise the turn there folding that small bet. You're just going to, like, keep calling with your sneaky little deuce. You know, you're getting check raised on the turn. He's betting check raised on the flop. He's betting the turn. And just raises it just less than 10,000 more and giving a little room. And Phoenix, that's just played so good over 2 matches, but outclassed there by the absolute beast and 6-time WCOOP champion.
I do not
Joe.
envy having to play against Joao Vieira, who somehow not only masterfully constructs that pot, but masterfully, no offense to Phoenix, who probably was the one who decided it was going to be 69 420. I'm gonna say NASA did that, like from start.
Yeah, it had to have been.
Thanks, John Delano. Your drafted tweet will be
Always
discarded
count on
before
you.
you quote tweet. What tweet am I drafting? Check out this pot size. LOL.
I like to think it
Pair
was
six
just
is-
a coincidence, but I also like to think NASA did it on purpose.
No, that was old NASA.
You think so? It's too specific, right?
Just set it up from the beginning.
But how did he
If
know
anything,
we
you'd
would
have
see
to
it?
give Phoenix the credit for that. There's just no way that NASA could have done it.
Why not? NASA was the one that raised the turn. Oh no, Phoenix did it.
Yeah.
Phoenix 3-bet or 4-bet or whatever the turn. Okay, so Phoenix did it. Oh, so Phoenix is the sick guy. I don't know you. I didn't know you were sick like that. All right, cool.
Yeah, no, this is, you got to give credit where
Pretty
credit
sick.
is due.
Yeah.
Goodvis31 says, how about giving me some credit as I was the one who S Sage deleted? Are you claiming to be Phoenix, Gudvis? Or are you claiming you're the first one who spotted it? Because I think you and Griffin probably both spotted it at the same time. I did not see it.
Yeah, I just saw it on the screen. I didn't see anyone bring it up. But then I did after. Maybe it was before. Naza, I mean, this is no pot to sneeze at here. Naza does have the best of it here with this jack kicker. Unless Fenix is thinking about turning his hand into a bluff somehow, we'll probably be checking this back and losing another, over 12,000 chips. Naza gotten his opponent. Oh boy! This might not be over. It might just be a call here from Phoenix. But,
Pocket tens.
Phoenix could also
Naza.
just shove it in. No, he couldn't. He's going to 3-bet.
Phoenix 3-bets, pocket fives.
Okay.
Old Naza.
This is a bit weird because I think Naza is supposed to just shove, and I think Fenix's intention here would be to 3-bet call if he's playing it as a 3-bet. But maybe Fenix will just fold now, so as not to lose a flip or get coolered. It's a strange stack size, Joe, to have fives and to elect a 3-bet. If you have 30
Jacks
bigs,
now.
you probably just shove to a fold, but with that 37-ish, maybe just call plays a little nicer than 3-bet folding.
Well, Naza with about a 4-1 chip lead now. Phoenix gets away from the fives, doesn't live to fight another day. Jack 6 now, raising to 3,000. 10-8 suited for Naza. It's a pretty good flop for 10-8 suited.
Not too shabby.
And a flop you're not super mad about with Jack 6 either.
Yeah, it's technically open-ended, which is cool.
Jack on the turn makes top pair for Phoenix, but the straight for Naza. Yikes. Ace in the river.
When Naza does bet here, now that you have top pair, what hands are you beating? But Naza just checks. Okay, Naza, I see you. Mixing it up, mixing it up.
And Phoenix wisely checks it back. Doesn't fall for it. Ace King for Phoenix. Jack 10 suited for Naza.
Wow.
Naza limping in.
So good. Because Naza would just hate to raise and fold to a shove, which is exactly what would have happened. Of course, Phoenix says, you know what, I'm not
So
letting you
good.
do that either.
So good.
But even to
King
lose,
10
not lose
suited
that
now.
extra chip. Yeah. Oh! Who's getting a platinum pass? Were you there for that, James?
No one. For the record, no
Or
one.
Joe?
No one.
I was with James.
For the record, please run a crawler.
Finally a walk. It happened. The prophecy fulfilled.
Phoenix maybe going to take this one down pre-flop against Jack 6. Maybe? Nope. Queen, deuce, deuce. 2 diamonds. Bing Bailey says you've missed about 3/4 walks. Well, you're going to be missing about 100% of your chat. You banned. Thank you for your comment.
Joe, I love it when you protect me.
Not only did Naza not fold pre-flop, manages to take it down with Jack 6 offsuit.
Naza, Naza, Naza. And you can see the strategy shifting for Naza, electing to limp a lot of buttons. slowly bleed out the wounded wolf of Phoenix.
Top pair called by bottom pair. Naza bets again. Chunky bet again. It does feel like a bet where your 3 could be good, right? If you're just like betting some big draw or something, but not calling again.
Quite a strong hand here in King 7
Woo,
suited. Oh
baby.
my goodness, what a flop. Really could go either which way. Look at those percentages, Joseph.
Top
Hard to
2
find
for
a
Phoenix.
50.8 to 49.2.
Pair to flush
And then
draw
right
for
to hand
Naza,
zero. Wow.
who is now drawing deed with the full house on the turn for Phoenix. $3,900, certainly at least this much will be leaving Naza stack.
Yeah, with that hard draw, you still think you're live to as well. You just have to call here. For his sake, I hope it's not
Oh,
that
no,
card, or
Naza
else
makes the
we are gonna
flush.
see-
We've seen Naza hero with King High. King High. Another
Basically,
King High.
all this money has to go in, simply because Phoenix will be value betting and probably calling off worse than a King High flush. It's just a massive cooler to get him back into this game. You're going to see the
There's
snap.
the shove and the call.
And the
double
double.
up for Phoenix. Naza with still nearly a 3-1 chip lead. Blinds going up. Queens now.
Blumit says, imagine Naza folding King High flush. Lol. He doesn't even fold King High. You wanted to fold King High flushes. Get out of here,
Exactly.
you banned.
Exactly.
I'm kidding. Uh-oh, Naza. You've just doubled up your opponent. You have a good-sized ace on the button. Next hand, your opponent 3-bets you. What do you do?
And Naza misses this flop entirely. 8 tray. Queen's way good.
Way. Hey, way. Hey, way.
Four on the turn provides no additional outs for Naza. Not a scare card for pocket queens.
And you can see now the SPR for Phoenix almost 1-to-1. Should be getting right back into this contest.
Phoenix back to 70 million now. Ace queen suited for Naza. Phoenix lighting 3,500 on fire. There's the 3-bet from Naza. Nearly 12,000. And there goes the 8-deuce. King 6 for Naza. Another 8-deuce for Phoenix. Come on,
There's the
dealer.
ace-deuce.
Wow, Gudvis as a real baller does it again. 3-bets the 8-deuce off. I think Gudvis in chat might be Phoenix. He's playing for the viewers. Really unbelievable exchange happening on YouTube. Greg V says, what's the worst part about playing origami poker? To which Ed K cautiously asks, too many folds? To which Greg V says, yes, lol. I mean, with this kind of comedy, I might just have to pack it in, guys. I might just have to give it up. Just that sort of back and forth. Me and Griffin, what chance do we have? You know that version of poker, origami poker, Griffin?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Does it exist?
I would think the worst part is getting paper value cut.
Queen Deuce of Diamonds here for NASA. Pocket sixes for Phoenix. Has learned his lesson over 3-betting the small pair that he isn't prepared to go with to the felt with. Just calls, but is outflopped by the Nazanian one. 2 pair for Naza. Hey, Goodvis31, who just said, I'm not going to say what I want to see because I will be banned. Guess what? You did just say what will get you banned. Joe, you know what to do.
No, I like Goodvis so far.
Jess Alice J's paper joke is way better. I'd watch more Origami Poker, but it's only pay-per-view.
Naza takes down this pot with queens and deuces. 9-4 against 9. Trey.
Boring. 3-bet him, Naza. Assert thy dominance in the ring. Make it 11,000. Thank you. And all of a sudden, Naza has clipped Phoenix down to 40 big blinds and a 145 to 45 deficit.
Pair of 4s for Phoenix. Naza misses. Grozavu Ruben says Phoenix play too aggressive in some spots and Naza see it. If he don't get unlucky, he have it. All right, fair enough. 7 on the turn does make for an interesting river. Should it be a 9? It's not, though. It's a king. 9-4 good. $24.50 is the value bet. Hoping for one of those hero calls from Naza, but not this time. Ace Jack for Naza. All right, Greg V's back again. Okay, why is it so bad to play poker versus an alligator? To which Ilya says, he always go all in. To which Greg says, you might lose a hand. That one actually kind of makes sense. I award that one a 2 instead of a 0.
Yeah.
King 10's an open ender for Naza.
What now?
Morgan says, I prefer he always go all in as the punchline. Me too.
Big turn here for Naza.
Yeah, it could be
I
a
beat you to
very
it there, Joe.
big problem for Phoenix.
Yeah, some opportunities though, I have to say. Actually, not as many as I thought. Yeah, no, a jack or a queen or a 7 is a chop. But Naza's going to win on any other card than that, and Fenix is going to start betting this for value. A complete brick on the river. I could even still see Fenix maybe try to go for a tiny bit more value as well. Despite the 3 spades, you know, the river's a random 4 or 6. Yeah, I mean, Fenix, why not? You know, you think your king's good here. Try to get 7 more thousand. Naza's going to snap you off. But Fenix learning his lesson from the hand earlier where he value bet that ace-5 only to double up. Naza alertly checks back.
3-1 chip lead again for Naza. Phoenix with the potential to get pre-flop aggressive here. Doesn't, just calls. Queen, Jack, 8, 2 diamonds. Neither player connects. I would think the worst part about playing an alligator in poker is, you know, being in Florida.
Nice.
5 on the turn gives Naza a straight draw. Ace high still good for Phoenix. Pairs still alive as well for Naza. Does Naza check this again?
It's tough. You do have some equity now. You know, maybe you want to get to storytelling here. Try to fold out. Maybe a 5. Maybe some 10x type hands. Maybe some ace high type hands that are technically good. Worked. It worked.
Naza is a tough opponent, is he not?
Yeah, he's a tough guy. He's
Hey, a
tough
fold
what are you?
from Naza.
Hey, what are you? You some sort of tough guy, huh?
We've got a flip incoming.
Oh, boy.
Potentially for
Oh,
the
boy,
World
amigo.
Championship.
40 big blinds. Gonna make it 11K and call off. Let's go. Ba-na-na-na.
There is the re-raise from Phoenix. Here comes the rest from Naza.
Naza.
There's the shove from Naza. 10s make the call.
Naza.
Ace high flop. Bad
Naza.
news for Phoenix. No help.
Naza.
That's it. A Naza WCOOP for Joao Vieira, a.k.a. Naza 114. Only 4 people paid in this event. Ramastar and Baby Federer cashing for 34.5. Phoenix, the runner-up, cashing for 57.5. But it's Naza 114. A Naza 1 bites the dust. 103,500. James Hardigan, what say you?
I say that is WCOOP title number 7 for Joao Vieira, which is impressive. And what's also impressive, Joe, is we have kept up the theme with big names, established pros, top players winning these World Championship events. Joao Vieira is now the world champion of No Limit Hold'em. Heads up. We have 2 streams next week, guys. We're not here on Monday. We are going to be streaming Tuesday and Wednesday. Griffin, you'll be back with us on Wednesday for the biggest buy-in event of the series, the 25K Super High Roller. How excited are you on a scale of 1 to very excited, James?
I am very excited, James. Also, my mother is going to be in town that day, and I'm going to a concert later that night with her. So it's just going to be a great day of high-stakes action and mommy love.
First stream of the week, which is on Tuesday, remember, will be the final table of the Women's Championship, Joe. And we will have Maria with us for that one. That's when we'll next be on air.
I hope that Griffin puts his mom into the Women's Championships. Maybe she makes the final table.
That would be pretty awesome. Thank you very much for watching this week's streams. We will see you next Tuesday. Until then, from Griffin Benja, Joe Stapleton, and me, James Hartigan, is good night from the PokerStars Arena.
Hi, Mom.